What is up, guys? The doctor is back in the office, and today in this video we're going to be recapping the entirety of the MVP card, mainly just the main card because I really didn't watch the prelims. Also, UFC Fight Night, Arnold Allen versus Melquizael Costa, which was actually a really solid card. And if you're here for a Conor McGregor UFC 329, Max Holloway, Conor McGregor 2 reaction and kind of early predictions video, that, brother, you're gonna have to wait till Sunday night. You're gonna see on Sunday night, brother. That shit's gonna come out on Sunday night. But let's start off recapping this MVP card because it was interesting. You know, it was kind of just a unction of kind of slop. Ronda Rousey subs Gina Carano in 17 seconds. I mean, who does that to Gina Carano, man? She's a marauder. She went to war with Chris Cyborg. Joe Rogan, unironically, on the next broadcast will say that was the most dominant performance in mixed martial arts history, and then he'll probably say like Ronda Rousey could beat Kayla Harrison right now. Some bullshit he'll say that about Ronda. But you know exactly kind of how we figured it was gonna go. It was a shock to nobody. The only, you know, question in this fight was which arm would Ronda Rousey armbar. I believe it was the left one. I don't even remember. This shit was terrible. And then you have these two hugging it out after the fight, acting like they just went through a war. Ariel Helwani gets on the mic, calling Travis Brown a legend, saying, we need to see more Ronda. Nobody expected that. We all expected that. We all knew Ronda Rousey was going to come in there and fucking submit Gina Carano in under 30 seconds. It was a shock to nobody. I don't know who Gina Carano is, who her training partners are. I would match her up next with Patchy Mix. If she wants a fight, her versus Patchy Mix is a good strikers fight, because she said, I didn't even get to go out there and let my hands go. Well, maybe you should have drilled defending a takedown or defending an armbar. Literally the only weapons of Ronda Rousey are her grappling. She has the head movement of a fucking sloth. It does piss me off that we're not going to get to see Ronda Rousey at least eat one punch. I wanted to have Gina Carano, look at my fucking hair, Gina Carano have one moment in this fight, and it just didn't happen. You know what I mean? We didn't even get one little Gina Carano where she could like land a kick or something against Ronda Rousey. Real fucking shame. Mike Perry versus Nate Diaz. Kind of how you figured it was going to go. Nate Diaz left the octagon looking like a tomato, blood everywhere. Just within 2 minutes in this fight, Nate Diaz was bleeding profusely from his head. Nate Diaz's scar tissue, I'll say this about Nate, has saved him from getting colded probably 11 times in his career. That's what I'll say about Nate Diaz. Mike Perry beat the shit out of this guy on the feet. Nate Diaz, you know, when he tried to get into the grappling, couldn't really get anything there. Good stoppage by, I think it was Mike Beltran. Is like, we got to, not really a stoppage, but, you know, the corner essentially just throws in the towel. Like, this fight's fucking over. And I liked Nate Diaz getting out there in the post-fight interview being, give me Jake Paul, motherfucker. I want the Mike Perry rematch. Ariel Helwani, I'll beat your ass next, motherfucker. Like, Nate, you gotta hang up the gloves. Your cardio is not the same. Your chin isn't the same anymore. And you just get beat up to a pulp like a tomato. The funny thing is, Nate Diaz came in, looked like he was in great shape for this fight, like relative to what we normally see Nate Diaz look like at the weigh-ins, where he kind of looks like skinny fat, like he did against Leon and Tony Ferguson. This guy ate like one punch to the body from Mike Perry and was ready to just cry and crawl into a ball. Now, he didn't. He toughed it out. But this is a dude who's saying, I'm gonna fucking fight Ilya next. I want your ass. I'm gonna fucking beat the shit out of Ilya. And then you just get your fucking ass kicked by Mike Perry, who I think wants to fight Jake Paul next. Is also open to a Nate Diaz rematch. Whatever. Francis Ngannou beat the shit out of Felipe Lins. Lin, he got paid $100,000 for this fight. And Ngannou got paid $1 million. So he got his ass kicked by Francis Ngannou for 10% of Ngannou's purse. Herb Dean, when Ngannou dropped Lins and the fight's over, Herb Dean looked like, man, I think he's still in this fight, man. I think he could take another punch. He wanted Ngannou to drop another bomb on Lins. Thank God the other kind of angel on Herb Dean's shoulder stopped us from seeing Felipe Lins get murdered. Kind of a weird end of the fight or end of the, you know, when Ariel Helwani's in there fucking making a podcast, which I'll talk about later, because the pacing for this card sucked. Where he's in there kind of, oh, you're the best heavyweight in the world. You know, you versus John Jones, is that something you're interested to? And then the fucking Netflix camera, it's panning to John Jones, and we have to hear Tyron Woodley explain to John Jones how he actually can legally get out of his UFC contract if Netflix and Jake Paul pay off the fucking legal fees. I don't know. It was a whole mess. That was funny. I found the Tyron Woodley and John Jones interaction was hilarious because John Jones couldn't hear anything because I don't even know why. There was 10 people in the arena in the Intuit Dome. There was nobody there. Arena, whatever the fuck the internet thing is named. And yeah, I don't want to see John Jones and Francis Ngannou. That's never happening. Francis Ngannou beats Felipe Lins, who weighed probably 200. He's literally a light heavyweight. He weighed 210 pounds for this fight. He's a baby. Saladin Parnasse beat the shit out of Kenny Cross. I really haven't seen a ton of this guy. I just know he's really big in Europe and really big in KSW and the UFC. I think they were offering him less than what he's getting paid in KSW. He looked really sharp. Dropped Kenny Cross with a punch to the body, and that was the fight. Good win for Parnasse, who's legit. I mean, this is a guy who definitely belongs in the UFC. Looks really sharp. This fight's hurt. Rebellis Despaigne beating the shit out of Junior Dos Santos. Yeah, I'll say this about JDS. Was actually using his jab and the calf kicks pretty well. That's a skill that you don't even see in heavyweight now. Just looks so slow out there. Got colded, like literally out cold, and I don't even know how much money he made for this. Did he even make 300 grand? Like, was it really worth getting some more serious brain damage from Rebellis Despaigne, who I don't even know what's next for him. They're probably going to do him versus Ngannou if I were to bet. And it does suck seeing JDS like that, because this is a guy who, I'm not going to act like I was watching this dude's fights when I was 7 years old, but like he was such a great heavyweight and had great fights with Cain Velasquez, a rivalry that I don't think gets talked about enough in kind of modern MMA, but whatever. He got put out cold in front of his family. That did suck to see. I'll kind of go through some of these prelims. Namu Fazil, I think that's how you say his name, and Jake Baby, and this guy had a fucking MMA Joey sponsorship on his shorts. Fazil won the fight by Anaconda choke. Then Arman Sarukian tried to jump the fence to fight this dude. Yeah, that's a classic Arman thing to do when he's at a that's just classic Arman. I really have nothing else to say. The guy can't get out of his own way. He's just an idiot. That's all I have to say. This was a bit of a crazy one, because whatever. I forget how to say this name, because he's a Longo guy, Red Longo guy. Pumi Nakuda. Really good, honestly. I think he can make it into the UFC. Obviously, he's 11-1 with this loss. It looked like he was going to win this one. Adriano Moraes just pulls this submission out of his ass, where he gets that rear naked choke in. The bell rings, and he's still holding that choke in. Nakuda might have been out already. I really didn't. I just kind of saw the clip on this one on Twitter. Was kind of a weird stoppage, so he wins by submission, because Nakuda was put out cold at the end of the fight. Jason Jackson knocks out Jeff Crane. Jason Jackson's the only guy to beat Yaroslav Hamazov. I can't say he's a dude who, we have so many shit dudes in the UFC. Jason Jackson, give him a shot. And then I didn't really watch. Lean Pereira kind of won an ugly fight, and Chris Avila lost to fucking whatever Jenkins guys. But I'll say this last point on the MVP card. I did enjoy kind of having it off to the side, even though these fights are mostly all jokes. They're just old, former washed UFC fighters. Do I think it's kind of a legitimate competitor to the UFC? No. But can it be? Yes. But it's not going to be that when you're just bringing in essentially all washed dudes outside of Parnasse and Francis Ngannou. And then like Fazil and Moraes, you know what I mean? Nakuda. Like, there are guys in the prelims who could have a future in the UFC, but you're not going to be, in my opinion, not going to be taking down the UFC by having Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano. I know this card probably did sick numbers, but whatever. It's still out. And the pacing, I just remember this. The pacing on this card, absolutely terrible. You'd have like 30-minute podcast interviews with Ariel Helwani in the middle of the octagon, just talking about what's next for them. Just, it felt like kind of a boxing card where it just took forever to get to the next fight. I'm not saying the UFC's perfect with their pacing. Sometimes it feels pretty long, but this just felt forever, and I had to keep listening to fucking Ariel Helwani's whining loser ass on the broadcast. Who wants to listen to Ariel Helwani? Who the fuck wants to listen? But whatever. Card, I guess, was fun. Let's just get into what the point of this video is. Let's break down Arnold Allen versus Melquizael Costa. And Arnold Allen versus Melquizael Costa, just as a main event itself, this was a really fun main event in my opinion, where I think Melquizael Costa, there's stuff there where you can kind of see the fun little scramble game of him, and he's obviously still a bit of a threat on the ground, and he's such a nasty kicker. I think he's kind of Edson Barbosa-like, with like 30% less KO power. You know what I mean? Like, he just doesn't, I don't know if he has that kind of elite level KO power at the top of the division. Obviously, this was his first fight in terms of fighting a real, true contender at featherweight, not like Dan Ige and Morgan Charrier. But he's almost a little he's too kick dependent. He kind of has kicker's hands, if you know what I mean. Like, he did kind of have a moment in that 5th round where he was blitzing in and kind of landing on Arnold Allen before he ended up getting smudged, which was kind of a theme in this fight. Arnold Allen, I think, was like 6 for 6 or 7 for 7 on takedowns in this one. But I just feel like Melquizael Costa, if he can kind of improve his boxing, improve how he is in the pocket, his defense in the pocket, along with kind of maybe adding some more knees and elbows into his game, he does have something there. I know the head kick wasn't really there for him, and he was missing spinning back kicks, but he has nasty calf kicks. Obviously, he's always going to be a threat with his kicks, and like Arnold Allen's just tough to finish. He has a great chin, and Melquizael Costa in this fight also showed that he had a great chin, but there's stuff there with Costa. I'm not out on him yet, but I also picked Arnold Allen to win this one, so it wasn't incredibly shocking. I thought Allen, he had an interesting strategy in this fight where he really was working his jab very well and then finding the big left hand after it, but would pretty much just eat a billion calf kicks in this fight and just continue to put forward pressure on and continue to land on Melquizael Costa. I thought his strategy of just eating kicks and not really caring was pretty funny to watch. And then also mixing in takedowns, whether it was getting the body lock takedowns or getting tripped takedowns against the fence. He did a nice job with that. Not that he was doing a ton on the ground. We'd had some decent moments with ground and pound, but he's not really a submission threat or anything like that. Arnold Allen, I just wish this guy had legit fight-ending power at 145 because he doesn't really have it. I think his last finish was like Drain Dan Hooker. But I probably had a ton of notes on this, but I feel like I just kind of summarized that one pretty well. I thought this was 49-46. I thought Costa kind of won round 2, but this was mostly a win for Arnold Allen. Just showed level, was better in the grappling, which I thought, hey, maybe he can mix it in. He did mix it in well in this with the trips and the body lock takedowns, and looked good with the striking, whether it was doubling up his jab, finding the big left. Costa, I thought, had moments where he did look sharp in the 4th and 5th round, but Allen just kind of just showed his experience, his better cardio, and just, I would say, more refined striking. I don't really know if I guess he's a better striker. It's not like he's going to give you kicks, but he's better with his hands. Melquizael Costa, just improve his boxing, mix in some knees and elbows in there. I think we do have something here, and better defensively in close. I do feel like he's so range oriented and really good defensively at range because of how dangerous his kicks are. If you can kind of improve in the pocket, we're going to see a really, really legit guy in featherweight. And I still think he's going to be a contender for years to come. But great win for Arnold Allen. Showed levels, and just a good win for him. I can't really say. I don't really know what I think is next for him, but him versus like the winner of Steve Garcia versus Diego Lopez could make sense, or Yusuf Zalal. Like, there are options for Arnold Allen. I've been kind of campaigning for this guy to go to 155. It hasn't happened, and now that you beat Costa, it's like, why would you? You could still clearly compete with newer prospects, and the only dudes he loses to are the elite of the elite. Moving on to a banger. Ho Choi versus Danny Willie Cat Santos. Listen, the fact that Ho Choi survived that first round is insane. Santos really threw out the whole arsenal. He pulled out the bazooka, the AK, the Glock, the fucking Scar. He pulled out every gun and every trick in his playbook and couldn't finish Ho Choi. And Ho Choi, I'll give credit to him. He stayed composed despite having to weather that early storm of Danny Santos. He's flicking, hooks, uppercuts, calf kicks. Even if he's eating bombs of body kicks and, just big punches from Danny Santos, he's still standing in there surviving. He was defending takedowns nicely. Staying in there despite the incredible body work of Danny Santos, and Danny Santos' really strong, dirty boxing. But I thought one thing that I was like, shit, Ho Choi can definitely win this fight is obviously he was continuing to land his calf kick in that first round. Also, he never really got wobbled, and he was defending the takedowns well. So I'm like, if Danny Santos was truly dominating this fight, he would have got in on one single leg and brought Ho Choi truly to the ground. Did he land a take? He was 0 for 6 on takedowns. He couldn't get any. Second round, you're kind of wondering, can Danny Santos keep up? And did he have moments where he was still kind of in there, still putting on, where he's throwing spinning heel kicks and a bunch of bullshit? Yeah, but Ho Choi's continuing to land his jab well, his calf kicks well, landing his right hand, had Santos hurt, dropped him with an uppercut, and then a really nasty left hook to the body and won. it was kind of one of those body shots that almost makes you cringe. You're like, geez, I could feel that one. Really insane fight. Danny Santos just kind of gassed again. This is literally the prototypical shoot the box fighter where he's just coming at you, swinging wild, really insane striking, and Santos just button smashes. And credit to Choi, weathering the storm, finding a win. Really insane chin from him. Ho Choi pulling out a masterclass like that in the big year of our Lord 2026 is very impressive. I'm happy for him. Ho Choi was my main in UFC too, so I've always liked him. Now, this was incredibly disappointing, and I don't want to rag on Malcolm Wellmaker too much because I like him, but this was ugly. I mean, he just looks so gun shiny. I feel like all of the adjustments that he needed to make from the Ethan Ewing fight, he just worked on the wrong things. Like, did he have to stay patient? Yes, but that also led to him not throwing his right hook really at all in this, not, using any of his just skills in general, just flicking body kicks, staying on the outside. And Juan Diaz, just credit to him, because I remember when this fight was first announced where I was like, Juan Diaz is dangerous. He only had one loss as coming into the UFC, had a really nice knockout on the Contender Series, was a dude who I thought was legit, and then kind of, as I was watching more film, like, Wellmaker should win this one. If he just even if he comes out with the exact same strategy that he had against Ethan Ewing, he should win this one. I'm like, Ethan Ewing is a really, really legit guy, and Juan Diaz, is he at that level? No, that's what I thought coming into this fight. Now, as I said earlier, Wellmaker was doing a nice job with the body kicks, but he just seems so gun shy, and Juan Diaz was landing takedowns, dropped him with a right at the end of the first. Then you have that weird running knee moment where it looked like initially maybe he hits Malcolm Wellmaker while he's on the ground in the head, but he really hits his shoulder and it kind of goes up. They gave Malcolm Wellmaker more time for a legal shot, and DC thought, because DC obviously, he was like, I can't even fucking do a DC impression, but he was acting like this was an illegal shot. It was a legal knee to a grounded opponent. Shut up, DC. No, fucking wasn't. It was not an illegal knee. And it was weird that they gave him more time. Whatever. Diaz looks sharp in round 2. Wellmaker's just not throwing. He wasn't opening up. Diaz is finding nice, punches to the body, getting to the body lock, taking him down, controlling him. Wellmaker's trying to work back up to his feet, but Diaz is still in that body lock. Diaz takes him back down, gets the body triangle, rear naked choke. I don't even think Malcolm Wellmaker tried to fight the hands at all, or throw the right hook at all. Just really ugly loss. Did Ethan Ewing break this guy? Because the Ethan Ewing loss was not a fraud check by any means, but the loss to Juan Diaz is a fraud check. Not to say Juan Diaz is not going to be a good bantamweight. I actually think this guy has potential. Malcolm Wellmaker, get ready to learn fucking OSHA. Get ready to relearn OSHA. Get ready to learn construction again. You quit your welding job, you're going to be back there pouring fucking cement, welding shit together. That's where you're going to be back. Either way, impressive win for Juan Diaz and just an ugly loss for Wellmaker. Moving on to Modestas Bukauskas versus Christian Edwards. I'll sum this up as Modestas Bukauskas should have had a finish in this fight. In the second round, clearly had Christian Edwards hurt and was landing on him really cleanly, and then decided to engage in the clinch when he could have finished the fight. And it was just dumb. I don't know how he didn't get a finish in there, and then made it incredibly way too close because Christian Edwards was kind of shooting in there, getting control time on the fence, was coming close with some head kicks. Honestly, might have won that third round. Going to a split decision with Christian Edwards. Not to say Christian Edwards is shit, but the Christian Edwards that took this fight on 3 days notice is not good. I know Modestas Bukauskas has won 5 of his last 6 or 4 of his last 5. Just not really a good win. I saw MMA Guru tweet out if he was in charge of Modestas Bukauskas, guy would be ranked. It's true though, because he does have the physical tools, just kind of dumb fight IQ, because he easily could have had a finish here and performance bonus, but whatever. Bernardo Sopaj, he beats Timmy Cuamba. Really impressive performance from Sopaj against a really long and dangerous kind of flyweight in Timmy Cuamba, where Sopaj's putting on the pressure early, was switching stances, putting, again, a ton of pressure on Timmy Cuamba, was finding his right hand, working the jab well, was level changing to take him down, nearly finished him in that first round with a neck crank that was pretty tight. Second round kind of comes out there where he's shooting in early. Timmy Cuamba did a nice job with his defense, had a nice 1-2, but Sopaj is continuing to work that jab really well. Drops Timmy Cuamba really bad with the check hook, hammer fist, where there were a couple moments in this fight where the refs were just not stopping the fight. Sopaj hunts for the back, taps Timmy Cuamba. Really nice win for Bernardo Sopaj. Timmy Cuamba's got to be kind of pissed because he probably lost at least 3 years off of his life because Bernardo Sopaj was raining down hammer fists on him when the fight should have been called. Whatever. Chaos Williams nukes out Nikolai Veretennikov, who is just not very good. I said that coming into this fight. Guy has no grappling. Just, he looks, again, a guy who has all the physical tools, but isn't good, you know. Chaos Williams is coming in there, landing his big right hand, landing the jab. Veretennikov's trying to mix things up in the clinch. He couldn't really do it. Chaos Williams clips him so bad with a left hand on a blitz, sat him down, landed a big right. Then you have Nikolai Veretennikov kind of getting back up to his feet drunkenly, and Chaos lands a big right. Was very patient, didn't immediately jump in there. Lands the big right, finishes him bad. Good win for Chaos Williams. As for some of the prelim fights, the fact that I took Bukauskas is hilarious. He actually he had Ivan Ersland up against the ropes in that first round, and he completely gassed. Like, Bukauskas just throws all these bullshit, like, weird hooks and jabs, and they were kind of landing, and he was hurt in that first round. But the amount of times Bukauskas in this fight shot takedowns, like, at his knees and would just, Ivan Ersland just made the easiest sprawls of all time, was hilarious. They were just fighting, man, in that first round. But second round, Ersland was just defending most of the takedowns while landing his jab. Bukauskas literally was just gassed out for the rest of the fight and kind of just got smudged in that third round and lost by decision. Tommy Gant, I was kind of impressed by his performance because he wasn't getting the takedowns early on Artur Minev, where he was shooting a lot, kind of just getting control time up against the fence. Minev was doing a nice job getting his hips to the fence, where Tommy Gant would take down Artur Minev, and Minev would just keep getting back up and did a really nice job with his takedown defense. The second round, he kind of figured Tommy Gant's just going to kind of continue to keep this kind of relentless pace and be relentless with the takedowns and stay on his back and kind of just force Artur Minev to eventually break and gas out. And that's kind of what happened, where Gant was landing some slams, took him down, flattened his wrist, trapped his wrist against the ground or against the mats, landing a ton of ground and pound, and it was over. His pressure won this fight. He broke Artur Minev. A very interesting lightweight prospect because he is very long and is a really good grappler. I'll go through the Kellen Vieira won. Jacqueline Calvacanti just really didn't throw anything in this fight. It was weird. She just was staying at range too much and wasn't landing anything. It kind of gave up the second round by getting taken down and not putting her feet on the hips and really doing anything. Just a dumb fight. As for Cody Brunage versus Andre Petroski, Cody Brunage gets the birthday knockout where Petroski's on the pressure early, slow as usual. Brunage is eating calf kicks. Petroski lands a takedown. Brunage kind of pulls a guillotine, and Petroski's landing elbows and side guard. I knew Cody Brunage was coming out here and getting a knockout on his fucking birthday because he drops Andre Petroski, bad with a left hook, gets on top and ground and pound, and the ref wanted Andre Petroski to die. Cody Brunage is a marauder. This is a classic matchup where it felt like it happened 8 times in the Apex already, and it was literally the first time ever. Good win for Cody Brundage. Big win for the guy. Seeing a what is this called? A capsule lock on live television was so funny to me. I mean, Alice Arlene beats Polyana Viana, where she essentially just sits back in Viana's guard, and it looks like a knee bar, you know what I mean, like a knee crusher. It was a weird submission. Good good win for Alice Arlene. Luis Garule. Credit to him. I've kind of shit on this guy before because I just keep calling him Luis Kincaid Garule. Really nice kind of boxing masterclass in this one. Put on the volume in this one. He's obviously a volume striker. He really did a nice job in this fight. Just moving around. Perez, I thought, kind of got too stationary. And Luis Garule just landed a lot of the bigger shots. Round 2, it did look like Daniel Perez was going to come out here and maybe win this one. Was moving a lot more, had really nice footwork, was landing boxing combos, even hurt Luis Garule in the second round. But then Luis Garule kind of just locked in, took over for the rest of that round, hit a fucking suplex on Daniel Perez like Brock Lesnar, and he just kind of put a beating on Daniel Perez. And Shauna Bannon versus Nicole Cagliari. This fight didn't go how anybody I thought figured it was going to go. Nicole Cagliari just out-grappled Shauna Bannon and won this one by submission. Shauna Bannon's terrible. I'm surprised Nicole Cagliari didn't really gas out. But either way, fun night of fights between the MVP card and Arnold Allen versus Melquizael Costa. It's 2:30 here in the fucking Empire State. I'll see you tomorrow I'm gonna put some editing into that video. I'm gonna start locking in on the editing for my reaction to UFC 329 McGregor versus Holloway 2. If you're new here, remember to like, comment, subscribe. The doctor is signing off.